Live from the Pioneer PBS studios in Granite Falls, it's Meet the Candidates. This candidate forum is designed to inform you, the viewing public, about the candidates running for Minnesota state office in our region. Meet the Candidates is brought to you by the members of Pioneer PBS. This program features the candidates for Minnesota House District 17A. And now, your moderator for tonight's program, Mark Fokin.
Hello, and welcome to Meet the Candidates. I'm Mark Fokin. This Pioneer PBS presentation is intended to inform you about the candidates who seek election or re-election to the Minnesota Legislature. This segment features candidates who are on the ballot in House District 17A. They are incumbent Republican Representative Tim Miller and his challenger, DFL candidate Ben Dolan. First, a few words about the district and the communities in it.
Minnesota House District 17A is made up of Swift and Chippewa counties and portions of Renville and Kandiyohi counties. Major cities include Appleton, Benson, Montevideo, and Granite Falls.
If you reside in this district, your questions will be given priority for all the candidates' answers. All Minnesotans, regardless of residency, are encouraged to join this conversation. Our intention is to let our viewers gain an understanding of legislative priorities. Please direct your questions via the methods listed on the bottom of the screen. Now let's meet tonight's candidates. By a coin toss, the candidates have determined the order in which they will appear with their opening statement. We will start with Representative Tim Miller of Prindsburg.
Good evening. I'm State Representative Tim Miller, and I ask for your vote. I live in Prindsburg with my beautiful wife Sherry, my mother-in-law Norma, my special needs son Jacob, our two dogs. We have a blended family of 7 children and 6 grandchildren. I grew up in a modest blue-collar home where I eventually attended the University of Iowa and graduated there with a Bachelor of Science. I put myself through school, and I'm only one of 2 people in my family with graduated college. I'm an Army Reserve veteran. I have my own business consulting nonprofits. Everything that I have accomplished in life has been through hard work and the grace of God. In the coming 2 years, our state is going to be facing generational challenges that will require leaders of courage and integrity. I was taught by my friend and former colleague Lyle Coonan an important thing when facing those challenges. You must answer the 3 C's. You must first answer to your conscience. Then you must answer to your constituents. And finally, you must answer to your caucus or your colleagues in St. Paul. I have faithfully served you under these rules. I believe the primary responsibility of an elected person is to represent the values and interests of the people that they serve and not special interests. I am pro-life, I'm pro-Second Amendment, and I'm a defender of farms and other small businesses. I believe the family is the source of authority in a healthy society. I believe government is instituted by God to serve our interests and not control our lives. This has been a rough year for all of us. Our lives have been not only affected by COVID, but also by the policies which have been dictated to us in its aftermath. I've helped people with challenges such as unemployment, helping gain access to their loved one in nursing homes, and sometimes just lending a sympathetic ear. There's so much work like this that's going to be coming in the coming year, in the next 2 years, and I'm anxious to face those challenges. I'm proud of the work that I've accomplished while serving you. I've accessed funding for multiple infrastructure projects in our district. I've provided health care options for people. I've advanced laws which fight against sex trafficking of children and sexual assault. I've supported our veterans. I've defended our constitutional rights and those in law enforcement who serve us to protect them. My hope is this evening that we can have a civil and frank discussion of these important issues that are facing our communities and our state. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Tim. And now the opening statement from DFL challenger Ben Dolan.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben Dolan. I'm running for Minnesota House of Representatives in District 17A. I'm Greater Minnesota proud, and I hope you are too, because there's no better place to live than right here in 17A. I put myself through college as well, and I've been successful everywhere I've gone, and I can be successful for you in the legislature. If you've ever struggled with bills, struggled to make ends meet, working jobs that you don't like just to barely get by, I've been there too. I understand. I grew up in a working class family with 3 other siblings and 2 parents that taught me about compassion and teamwork and caring about your neighbor. I will be a fighter in St. Paul for affordable health care, lowering prescription medication, access to mental health needs in our district and the rest of Minnesota. I will also support our teachers and our essential workers because it's gone far too long that they've been kind of pushed to the side, and nothing like 2020 has ever shed a light on it like it has been before. I believe in hard work and responsibility, but I also believe in when we do better as a group, that's what the end result should be. We all do better when we all do better, as Paul Wellstone would say. Like I said, I'm first generation college. I've worked the concrete jobs, the unloading of trucks, doing all the hard work that, you don't necessarily enjoy doing, but you got to get that paycheck to pay for your bills and support your children. We need affordable daycare. We need everything. Prices are rising, and I'm not rehearsed in this because I want to be authentic. I want to talk to you directly. I want to have a conversation with you tonight. And it's 2020 has been very trying. I decided to run in January, and everything that could ever happen in 2020 has happened. And I'm here to keep fighting for you, and it's been a fight. I will never not show up for you. I will make the hard decisions, and I'll be a relationship builder for you at the Capitol. I will work across party lines. I will coalition build, and I'll bring our tax dollars back to Greater Minnesota. I will be a champion for you. I will work hard for you because I've been from the community for 33 years, and there's no place better than rural Minnesota in my eyes. Thank you, and I hope we have a great debate tonight.
Thank you, Ben. Before we start the questions, just a quick reminder to the viewers at home that you can learn how to register to vote in Minnesota and find your voting location on the Minnesota Secretary of State's website at minvotes.org. Now let's get started. As a reminder, the rules are that each question will be asked to both candidates. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Both candidates also have the opportunity for a 1-minute rebuttal if they so choose. We will alternate which candidate gets asked each question first. Now, our first question goes to Representative Tim Miller. How would you ensure every Minnesotan has health care?
I can tell you that healthcare, we live in rural Minnesota, right, folks? And a lot of times I get asked what's the most important issue in agriculture. I can tell you that since I've been serving, healthcare is, if it hasn't been the top, it's certainly been among the top. This is a very serious thing. A few years ago, the individual market collapsed due to some of the practices of government. We don't have time to get into that, but it collapsed, and there were people that had had health insurance from the same company for 25 years and they no longer had it. I heard story after story, and I went into the experts in St. Paul. Healthcare is a very complicated thing, and I said, we have to address these issues for people. And I came up, and I'm very proud, I'm an author that was signed into law by Governor Dayton, one of very few laws on healthcare that's private industry driven, the Ag Cooperative Health Plan. And that opened up a couple different avenues for people to have alternatives because basically they had no alternatives. That's the key for everyone to have access to affordable health care is alternatives. Also price transparency. I've been a proud co-author of price transparency. There are some market-driven factors that provide more choices for people. I think we need to increase those. We're a state that cares about our people and we want to take care of them. People have great access to the best health care in the world, and that's what we need to continue doing.
Thank you, Tim. Now to Ben Dolan, the same question. How would you ensure every Minnesotan has health care?
That's a complicated question, and like as Mr. Miller provided, he's done some things to make some strides toward that. But obviously in the 6 years in office, it hasn't been enough. We need to expand MNsure. We need to make sure everybody's taken care of. It should be simple as this. If you're sick, you get taken care of. If you need prescription drugs, it should be affordable. And whatever legislation required to get there, I'm on board with. Whether it be expanding it with competition. The only problem with competition in our area is that hospitals and everything isn't nearby for everybody. There's a lot of rural areas. Well, we're all rural areas, but we're not in town. I'm fortunate enough to live 2 blocks from the Appleton Hospital, but there are people that live 30, 40 miles from a hospital, and as far as competing prices, going to different hospitals and things like that, that's not going to happen. And whether there's health insurance, like I said, we need to expand a public option and let people buy into that, and creating bargaining powers, especially for small business owners, like farmers. And you know, I go to the pharmacy and I see people struggling to decide whether they want to pay for all the meds that have been prescribed by their doctor, or if they want to, you know, pay for their next meal. And that's, I don't think there's anybody out there listening today that feels that that's a good option, that's fair to anybody. Prices are out of control, and we need to rope them in through transparency and just getting back to the compassionate agenda, making sure people are taken care of in our communities, our elderly and our children. No parent should have to decide whether they take their kid to the hospital with a 101-degree temp, or if they're going to be able to pay their electric bill. Thank you.
And now we'll go to Representative Miller for a 1-minute rebuttal.
Thank you very much. I want to address the public option. That's a conversation that's been pushed forward by Mr. Dolan's party for a couple of years, and it sounds appealing because you can have, people can buy in at a relatively low monthly rate. But understand, bills have to be paid. One of the things to understand about Minnesota Care is it only reimburses about 40 cents on the dollar to the providers that it serves. The people that are proponents of the buy-in program put together the cost, an estimated cost of over $70 billion per biennium. $70 billion just for that buy-in option. That isn't my number, that's their number. We simply can't afford it. And I think there are other challenges. When you do a public option, I think you lose true care and you do more administrative things. That's for a longer discussion. But I want to be clear, I do not support the public option. I wish I could, but we simply can't afford it, and I don't think it'll solve our issues.
Thank you. And now our next question goes to Ben Dolan. How do you go about reaching consensus and collaborating to improve Greater Minnesota, especially those who are across the aisle?
Well, that's a good question. I'm a firm believer in teamwork, and people can have honest disagreements. But after, coming of age in the last few years, I'm only 32 years old, you learn to work together, whether it be teams you played on in high school, college, or just general work. You're not going to love everybody you work with, but you can find commonality in goals. As a Democrat, you find somebody across the aisle that supports your, prescription drug bill, and you work with them on that one issue. You don't have to be in love with all their policies, but you need to get that done because everybody needs that in their lives. They need lower prescription drugs, they need more affordable health care, they need mental health resources. And it's not about the big picture and scoring political points or breaking away because you don't like how your party's performing. What you do is you keep working harder, you make friends, and you get along because we're adults and we have a common goal, and that is to make Minnesota the best state that we can. I think Minnesota is the greatest state in the nation, but we got to keep improving it every day. And I think we do that through teamwork, relationship building, and have a common goal of just making Minnesota better for everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Ben. Representative Dolan, same question. Pardon me, Representative Miller. How do you go about, same question, how do you go about reaching consensus and collaborating to improve Greater Minnesota, especially those who are across the aisle?
Yeah, I can tell you that this is by far the number one thing that people bring up. They usually say, how are you going to get along? Are you going to get along with others? When I very often have students come to my office. I love it. And they say, what's the number one thing in being a legislator that you need to know? And I said, it's about building relationships here. And it's about building healthy relationships. Well, a healthy relationship, and we can look at relationships in different, whether it's a marriage or it's a business relationship, whatever, they're two-way. They're honest, they're frank. They sometimes struggle, they sometimes agree, they sometimes disagree, but they're built on respect. And it takes time to be able to do that. It takes time to be able to build not only that respect, but that trust. Also, in the circumstances where the trust is broken, you have to work towards mending that relationship. It may be your fault, it may be theirs, but you have to do that. There's a lot of people there. You have the legislators, you have the governor's office, you have lobbyists. These are all the pieces that need to come together in order to move forward. I'm very proud of the relationships that I've built with people, not only in my party, but people, as they say, on the other aisle. In the administration, that can sometimes be more challenging. I have great relationships with commissioners. This is how you build towards accomplishing things with people, and I believe that I've been very successful in that the time that I've served.
Thank you, Representative Miller. Our next question goes first to Representative Miller. What is your position on the Appleton Prison?
You know, this is, when I was first elected, this was a top priority of mine, and I don't believe politicians, especially when they're not elected, should make promises, but I made one promise, and it was I'm going to do everything that I can to ensure that that opens. And I didn't know what that looked like. As soon as I was elected, before we even went into session, I called the owners, CoreCivic, and said, what do I need to know? And it was actually a lot of functional things. It wasn't about the state of Minnesota purchasing it or anything like that. It was, what do we need to do? Through these years, we have moved through a process. The state had a need for more prison space, and they were going to build a 500-bed facility in by the cities for as much as it would cost to operate and update Appleton Prison. I said, bring it out there. So we've had many challenges with that. We have always moved the ball forward. Two significant things that have happened. We did pass, and Governor Dayton signed into law legislation which effectively, for lack of a better, says the first option has to go through Appleton Prison. It's the simplest way to say it. In this last year with the new Walz administration, I got to know Commissioner Schnell. He's the Department of Corrections Commissioner. Talk about building relationships. We've built, I believe, a friendship. He's a man of integrity, and he wants to do the right things. We've had good, frank conversations. We have moved forward with it. There are still some challenges that are ahead. I want to be very clear to people. I'm not looking for the state of Minnesota to purchase the prison for the sake of purchasing it. The state has a need. We have an asset out here, and we have an opportunity to provide a lot of jobs through that prison. That's not the only thing that we're going to be doing, but we're going to keep pushing that. I've always said that when it comes to job development and job opportunities, we have to take the opportunities that are before us. 3M is not going to open a headquarters in Appleton or any other small town. We need to take the opportunities we have. That's a clear and present one. But we certainly need to move forward with other options that we have. But I do think that this is something, and I do promise to continue to work forward. We haven't moved back. We've always moved forward, but it's been a slow pace.
Thank you, Tim. Ben Dolan, same question. What is your position on the Appleton Prison?
This one hits home for me. The prison was built when I was 4 years old, and I don't believe that Appleton should have ever built a private prison, because I don't believe private prisons are moral. But if the state wants to run a state facility out there and create some jobs, I'm all for it. The prison's been closed for 10 years. It's been closed since February of 2010. You can come to whatever conclusion you want with that. I don't think it's close to opening. I think Mr. Miller has had 6 years, and if the ball's moving that slowly, I don't know. And building relationships to get it open, it's probably tough to build relationships when you sue the governor. And I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to, because that thing's been closed for 10 years. And I want to see it open. But we need to work on economic development in other areas as well. We have a new business in town. It used to be Deldy Foods, and it is a great opportunity to grow our Appleton economy. great health insurance, great wages, and I think we need to grow the other businesses we have in town. And if we want to turn that into a state facility and create more jobs, great. I believe in that as well. But I don't. The last 10 years it's been closed. That's all. I don't know. I'm just dumbfounded by that one still. We have every 2 years or so we come and pound our chests and we act like it's going to get reopened, but it hasn't been. It's been a third of my life it's been closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And now we'll go to Representative Miller for a 1-minute rebuttal.
Well, I agree with Mr. Dolan. It's been frustrating. I can tell you that the legislation that we've moved forward with has passed out of both the House and the Senate. Governor Dayton would not support it. Governor Walz will not support it. And they've made it abundantly clear when I talk about my frustration with special interests, they won't do it because the union that represents the guards in the other prisons won't allow them to move forward with this. And I've gone to the union. I've said, listen, there are 350 good union jobs that are going to be in greater Minnesota. And yet they still refuse to listen. Instead, they throw out propaganda that the place is run down. They throw out propaganda that it's going to return to a private prison. Listen, I don't want to get into that argument. It's not my prison. It's not my decision. But when we have an opportunity, we shouldn't have these inserted special interests that are blocking things. We need to do what's right for the people, not those special interests.
Thank you, Tim. Now we'll return to Ben Dolan for a 1-minute rebuttal.
I don't think I need 1 minute, but I just know that there's no law in Minnesota right now against private prisons. And CoreCivic, the company, if you want to come to Appleton and do business, there's nothing stopping you now.
Thank you, Ben. Our next question goes first to Ben Dolan, and it comes to us from Montevideo. Given our current challenges, how can we encourage teachers currently teaching to stay in the profession and attract others considering teaching to join the profession?
Well, 2020 has been very challenging to teachers as far as everybody, especially the teachers that have children as well. I have many friends and I've had conversations with that. I went to SMSU, it's one of the better teaching schools in Minnesota. So I have a lot of friends from college that are teachers now. And God bless them, they work very hard and they don't get paid nearly enough and don't get nearly enough support. One thing that came up was just helping teachers dealing with this mentally. Because everything, we keep changing, we keep pulling the goalposts on them as a society. We don't know what's going to be expected with COVID. We need to give them more incentive to do this. They go to school for 4 years for a job that barely supports them to make their loans. Teachers are some of the greatest people in our country. They take care of our kids for 8 hours a day, while we can go to work, and we need to check in on them too. We need to make sure everyone from the janitor to the principal to the superintendent is taken care of, because they are watching our most valuable resource longer than most parents do during the day. They're with them for 1/3 of the day. And it's simple for me. We need to support teachers. We need to put more funding in education. And we need to give them more incentive to join teachers and stay in it, whether it be expanding loan forgiveness. It's tough because I've had many conversations, like I said, and a couple have called me crying and just wondering what they can do. And I don't have all the answers, but I know that I'll always work hard for teachers. I'm endorsed by Education Minnesota, and I believe the teachers are the foundation of our small towns. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dolan. Representative Miller, same question. Given our current challenges, how can we encourage teachers currently teaching to stay in the profession and attract others considering teaching to join the profession?
Yeah, this is a great question, and it's a real challenge in rural Minnesota where we have difficulty finding teachers. My wife is a teacher, so I know what they're going through right now with a combination of distance learning, in person, the rules are kind of changing. It's incredibly difficult, and I agree with Mr. Dolan that their mental health, I've seen the strain on my wife and the other people that she works with, and we need to, that would be a very important thing that we need to do here and now. This question gets asked often in different ways. But it always brings up a story at the Renville County Fair that I had a couple of years ago. I sat next to a teacher and talked to her. She was about my age. And so we were able to communicate through the years and stuff like that. And she said when she went into her classroom for her first day of work out of college, she says, "Where's the curriculum? What do I need to know?" And they said, "You're a writing teacher, you teach." And she says over the years she's learned that some teachers or some classes, the writing is more difficult, sometimes the reading's more difficult, and they can adapt. She said over the years it's become more and more administrative, my role. I've been doing less and less teaching and more paperwork and things like that. That's a real burden. I think we need to change that. We need to let teachers teach. I think we also need to empower them and equip them to be able to teach in those classrooms. There's lots of issues we can't dive deep into now because of the limitation, but how the students act, what they can do with students for discipline, some of these different things. I've talked to many teachers also, and it's very difficult for them. And I can tell you that I have supported pay increases for them, but I can also tell you that when something as important as teaching comes down to I'm not getting paid enough, I have found in my lifetime that usually there are underlying issues, and it's coming out in that way because no one's listening to those other issues. We have licensing challenges in Minnesota. We make it very difficult for people to come from other states to come in here and teach. We need to be more accessible, open to equip these teachers to teach.
Thank you. Now we'll return to Ben Dolan for a 1-minute rebuttal.
This is just a quick rebuttal, and I'd like to thank every teacher I've had growing up from Head Start, preschool, through 12th grade, college, and law school. Some of you have been the greatest mentors in my life. My mom was also a great teacher. She worked for Head Start for over 25 years, and you guys don't get enough thank you. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank everyone that's been involved in my life and getting me to a point where I get to make a run at state representative. I appreciate everything you do, and I'm listening, and I'm here for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question goes to Representative Tim Miller first. What is your opinion of the current handling of COVID-19 in Minnesota? What would you do differently or the same?
I think my record has been pretty clear in public, but let me walk through it just briefly. When this was coming into our state and into our nation, we faced a crisis that in my lifetime would be similar to what's turning out now, in my opinion, to be World War II, perhaps the Great Depression. This is a significant time. You never know what it looks like when you're in it until you see it afterwards. But as we move forward, what I really appreciate in Minnesota is we moved in unity, which is something that we always need to do. It's something I think we need to get back to right now, okay? But I supported what the governor proposed in his emergency powers and his emergency orders that he was doing. As we moved forward, I grew increasingly concerned because he was closing out the legislature. Also, we took care of the original rush with equipping hospitals. We did a great thing in Appleton with that. We did all these different things, but we moved into the maintenance of a crisis, which is not a small thing, that's a huge thing, but you need to include everyone. Governor Walz has increasingly become more and more isolated on his things. So I first proposed, let's bring the legislature back in. We need to bring it back in and have its rightful role. They ignored that. We couldn't get enough votes. So then I was a co-plaintiff on a lawsuit to say these emergency powers need to end. Understand that doesn't end what we do here to take care of people in the Minnesota. It just takes away the totalitarian power that Governor Walz has, which I don't think is needed anymore. That's why we are doing that, and that's why I continue to press through communication directly with the governor, the governor's office, sometimes polite, sometimes a little more firm. We can't always be best friends on these issues, okay? But the important thing is to get this state on the right track. As we have moved on further and further, this has been way more politicized than it needs to. This has a lot to do with the election coming up, which is despicable. We cannot do that. We need to be united. We need to serve the people of this state.
Thank you, Tim. Ben Dolan, the same question. What is your opinion of the current handling of COVID-19 in Minnesota? What would you do differently or the same?
You know, I think about this a lot, and I don't think me or Mr. Miller would want to be in Governor Walz's position in 2020. I think nobody in their right mind would want to be put in the position Mr. Walz or Governor Walz has been put in. Has he done all the right things? I don't know. Time will tell, and we'll look back someday and wonder if he did. But the facts remain that 200,000 people have died. We used to look to South Dakota as, well, they were doing everything right. They are the current spikes 13 people died in one day, and I don't think they're doing it right either. I don't know if there is a right way to do this. I think it's better to be safe than sorry sometimes, and whether or not you believe in wearing a mask or not, I think it's a small sacrifice that we can make to open some businesses and get some economics back in our small towns. I'm not big on throwing fear out there and scare tactics or anything like that. My message is hope. My hope is looking to the future and creating good things for the people of Minnesota. But I believe in scientists. I believe in listening to people that are smarter than me in science. I have a political science degree. I have a law degree. I know the law and I know politics, and I know just conversations I have with other people. I trust people that are smarter than me, and I don't know what I would do differently than Governor Walz. I've never been, it's hard to answer hypotheticals, but I know that I'm afraid for people. I know that if my grandparents or my parents were put in the position to protect me, they would wear a mask all day and they would do whatever they had to do to keep me safe. I think it's the best thing we can do is try to keep them as safe as possible. We can return the favor by just following a mask mandate. I know it's not fun to wear. I know it's not great, but I think it's a small price to pay, like I said, to open up businesses and get our economy going again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And now we'll return to Representative Miller for a 1-minute rebuttal.
We need to give people their lives back. I trust people. I trust people to make the right decisions. All along I've said, be safe, be smart, but don't be afraid. When Mr. Dolan talks about fear, that's exactly what Governor Walz has brokered through all of this. He has leaned on people and compelled people to do things through fear. It frustrates me when I see someone driving alone in their car with a mask because they've heard something that isn't accurate. That's just a small symptom of it, but we see that time and again. Governor Walz, open our businesses back up, give us our lives back.
Thank you. Now we'll return to Ben Dolan for a 1-minute rebuttal.
Well, I think it's simple. If you visit the small towns in Minnesota, we'll do the right thing. We'll do what's necessary. Wearing a mask into a gas station or a store for 5 minutes is not the biggest sacrifice in the world. There are things that I can get on board with Mr. Miller about getting our lives back. I agree with that. We need to start working towards that. But I see many people now that won't wear masks. They just won't. Wearing a mask is not a political thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Our next question goes to Ben Dolan first. What would you do to support a vibrant economy in our area?
It's a very broad question. First off, I would work towards building our local areas with tax dollars we pay every year and have them come back to Appleton, Montevideo, Renville County, and the rest of the towns involved. Bonding bills, affordable housing, affordable daycare, access to daycare. This will make our businesses want to build in our area. Are we going to get a 3M like Mr. Miller said? No, obviously not. I agree with him with that. But there are a lot of other business. Also increasing broadband support for us. Getting the infrastructure in so people can start businesses so you don't have to worry about just the simple traffic flow of a town of 1,100 people, but you can ship to other areas. You can start your own home-based business. There are a lot of people that love living in greater Minnesota. I am one of them. But I do struggle with the internet in my hometown of Appleton. I think most people can agree. Is it a lack of competition? Sure. But you're not going to get 3 cable providers out in rural Minnesota. It's just not going to happen. So we need to put the infrastructure in. We need to invest in it to break the divide between rural Minnesota and the Twin Cities. We are one Minnesota. I love the Twin Cities. I love my hometown more, and I love greater Minnesota more because there's no better place to live. We need to give people the opportunity to grow their businesses. Bonding bills that has not been passed this year yet. Those are vital to our area. They create jobs. We need better roads. We need better infrastructure. Anybody that drives around my hometown or any town in 17A realizes that the patch and pray method is not going to last forever. It's destructive to our cars, and shipping isn't easy either. We need to connect us to the Twin Cities, and we need to start now. If elected, that'll be a top priority for me, building our local economies. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Representative Miller, same question to you. What will you do to support a vibrant economy in our area?
Yeah, this is important. A vibrant economy in rural Minnesota is something that we struggle with. There's lots of challenges. In the context of COVID, we have some things that we have to deal with first before we can get into the next step. And we fundamentally have to get businesses back open. We can't have a vibrant economy if all of our businesses are closed or they're shutting down. And so we need to facilitate that first and foremost. Mr. Dolan touches on a lot of the important things that we need to do for a vibrant economy. We need to deal with daycare. We need to deal with broadband. We need to deal with, there was a consultant that came into Benson about a year or two ago, and he wrote a book called The 13 Ways to Kill Your Community. It was sort of a reverse psychology sort of thing of what you don't do to kill a community. It was very eye-opening for the small towns around here. And I was so impressed with it, I think some other towns should look at what they're doing, and I see Benson implementing some of this stuff. We have to make people want to live here, of course. And with technology and the internet, we have great opportunities where we have a great quality of life out here. That's what we really provide for people. Great education, great place to raise a family, but people need to have the jobs. They need to have the way that they can do those jobs, and doing that through the internet is certainly one of those. I've been a supporter of infrastructure improvements. I don't like the way some of our policies are that I think that hinder the ability to do that. We do need to address some of those. And it's tough for me because I don't like bonding bills. I think there's a lot of garbage in them, and they say, well, you have to pass that to get the thing passed. I don't think that's true. But I've supported some of those anyway because of the important infrastructure projects out here. I'm supporting the current bonding bill. Can't get through, but for a couple votes, I was just told today it might go forward. There's going to be funding for Lake Lillian and that if that does move forward, so I'm hopeful.
Thank you, Tim. Our next question goes first to Representative Miller. What can we do to make our communities more welcoming to newcomers?
So unlike Mr. Dolan, I did not grow up in this area. I'm a transplant 18 years ago. Chose to move here. I love it. I love being able to raise a family, as many things that we've talked about here, the advantages of raising a family in these small communities. And I if you will, I look like everyone else. I talk like everyone else. Well, okay, I came from Eastern Iowa, so maybe I talk a little bit different than some people up here. But it was a challenge for me. So imagine if you look different, or you come with a different context of a culture. I think the way that we need to be more accepting is we need to be intentional with it. We need to, it's a tough thing, we need to not fear people that don't look or act like us. We need to have communications with them. My wife teaches at Ridgewater College, and she has some East African students that are in her class. And she's just invited to a wedding, and we've gone to other things. You engage with people. It's a very difficult process. It's slow moving, it's frustrating at times, but I think you'll also learn from people that are different from you. And so I would say that would be my encouragement and challenge to everyone is don't be afraid to talk to that person that may not make sense to you. You have a lot of built-in presumptions that aren't accurate. You learn a lot of things when you talk with those people. As I said earlier, it's about building relationships.
Thank you. Ben Dolan, same question for you. What can we do to make our communities more welcoming to newcomers?
That's a tough question. It depends on every individual to make a real effort to welcome people into your neighborhood. I have roots in Swift County that go back over 100 years. Basically came off the boat from Ireland and moved to Minnesota and settled here. More inclusion is always better. Getting to know your neighbors, having conversations. If you're not feeling uncomfortable when you have conversations, sometimes you're not growing as a person. And I feel that people are afraid of things they don't know. And if you put your neck out there and you talk to people more, and you can find a common connection. If you take the time to talk to other people, as Mr. Miller said, you'll learn that you have more in common than you don't. We've had a lot of struggles in 2020 with racism, discussing racism and things like that. And I think this has been a great opportunity for us in our small towns and area and throughout the whole country to discuss this and have open dialogue about why people feel the way they do. Whether they're right or wrong, you cannot validate other people's feelings. You need to listen. You can disagree with them all day, every day. but you need to listen and show respect. And I think respect is a short commodity right now. I think we need, like Mr. Miller suggested, open conversations, reading, learning, talking, just making a solid effort to make other people feel welcome in your community. When somebody comes over to your house, you offer them a cup of coffee. When somebody comes to your neighborhood, you ask them to help move in. Minnesota Nice is a real thing. Let's get back to it. Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. Now we'll return to Tim Miller for a 1-minute rebuttal.
Yeah, and this isn't really so much a rebuttal as it's kind of an addition. For the listener that asked this question, that's a great question because we certainly struggle with that. I want to give you a word of encouragement. The younger generations that I've seen behind mine, certainly the younger people, they seem to get this. You know, when we think of people that are different, we of course think of different races or different creeds or religions or whatever it may be, and that's certainly part of it. But I want to give you the example that came to my mind of my son who's 18 and has special needs. He has autism. When I grew up, he would have been treated way different than what he's treated by the young people around him now. They embrace him, they include him. And I think if there's one thing that we've done good as a society is we've moved in that direction. I want that to be an encouragement. I see the next generations moving up and really working together, if you will, in a society where we all respect each other.
Thank you, Tim. Our next question goes first to Representative Miller. Oh, pardon me. Now we'll go to Ben Dolan for rebuttal.
Mr. Miller makes a great point, and I am that younger generation that gets it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Now, our next question goes first to Representative Miller. What is your stance on Second Amendment rights?
My stance on Second Amendment rights is that guns are a way of life where we come from, hunting, fishing, outdoors, and I agree in home protection. I agree that people have a right to defend their house within reason. It's not a tough question. The Second Amendment, Constitution, we try to make this a big issue. A lot of people, pound their chests over this. Out in rural Minnesota, I get it. People want to hunt. People want to go outside, and whether it be duck, pheasant, whatever you want to hunt, that's fine. I agree. I agree you have that right. You have that Second Amendment right, and you have that right to defend your house within reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Now, we'll go to Representative Miller. What is your stance on Second Amendment rights?
I've been a clear proponent. I have not equivocated. I've been clear on this from the beginning. I have an A rating from all major gun advocacy groups. I've co-authored bills that defend our rights. Constitutional carry has been one, stand your ground has been another. I'm going to be clear on this. And I wish I could agree with Mr. Dolan on this, that it isn't a big deal, but some people sometimes ask, why are we making such a big deal about a Second Amendment, maybe as opposed to the other amendments, or why are we fixated on this? It's because our rights are being challenged on that. I'm in public safety, in the Public Safety Committee in St. Paul, and we had bills that were pushed and passed out of the Minnesota House of Representatives that infringe on those rights. We had the red flag bill. We have the universal registration. These are not minor steps towards controlling our right to bear arms. These are major steps. These are significant steps. We're not talking about a bump stock here, which we can maybe argue about. These are fundamentally changing your right and your ability to own arms. This isn't just about hunting. The reason why our forefathers provided the Second Amendment to us was the fundamental thing. I said in the beginning that the family is a source of all authority. We have a right to own property. We have a right to protect our family. The Second Amendment gives us that, and this is about protection. Certainly it affords us certain rights with hunting, which I'm thankful for, but we are at a crisis in our nation right now where people are feeling that their rights are being infringed on, and it's being narrowed down to they're not even going to be able to protect themselves anymore with those fundamental rights. So I will be an ardent supporter of any legislation that defends those rights, and I will be an ardent detractor from anything that tries to lessen those rights.
Thank you, Representative Miller. Now we'll return to Ben Dolan for a 1-minute rebuttal.
I want to be very clear before this becomes a soundbite for everybody. The Second Amendment is a very big deal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the Constitution or the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights, which was passed by our founding fathers. There are many things that were in our Constitution that don't necessarily apply today, though. Not saying the Second Amendment is one of them, but when he talks about the right to ownership, that only meant white males. So the Constitution wasn't always right. It's been amended several times. And the red flag laws, I agree. It's a due process question, whether or not you can take away people's guns without judge and jury. It's simply a judge making a decision. Well, there's two sides to that story, and I understand the argument of the due process and infringing on people's rights. Although a lot of this is targeted on people that abuse, people that have assaulted their wives or significant others, and we don't want them to have guns when they get out of jail, when they post bail, and go back and finish the job, so to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Our final question of the evening will go to Representative Miller first, and it comes to us from Benson. What reforms do you support to increase police accountability?
That's what I dealt with this spring, right? I'm on Public Safety Committee, and they first came on strong and said they wanted to defund police, and they basically wanted to fundamentally transform law enforcement into ambassadors in the community. It was totally taking away any sort of public safety, and they said no to that. But the public safety chair, which is a Democrat, a very liberal Democrat, and I have built a strong relationship. We disagree on pretty much every issue, but we have a respect for each other. And as we move through the process, the left, if you will, was softening its stance to get something done. Not in every place, but they were. This summer during special session, I received a call as Carlos Mariani as the chair. And he called me early one morning and he said, Tim, I think we can maybe get some things passed. Do you agree that we should get some things passed? Because we should. We could have, a lot of these questions we're asking could have a whole hour forum on each of them, but we should get some things passed. And I agreed with that. And he said, but the Republican Senate is signaling to our leadership that they aren't interested in anything. He goes, I think they are, but our leadership is going to kill it and basically just do a hardline vote so they can get the votes out of there, all that stuff, the games that go on. And we were, it was a process. It didn't happen in the next 24 hours. Matter of fact, it failed that special session, but the next special session, we passed real reform, healthy reform that as a conservative I can support. I didn't like all of it, but that's compromise, right? As soon as it passed on the House floor and it was going over to the Senate, it was going to be passed, going to be signed into law, we knew that. Carlos Mariani texted me and said, quote, in the text, thank you, I don't think this could have been done without you. Now, it wasn't me alone, by no means, but that was something that we did. There was a lot of reform we could do. There isn't time for it here. We need to do some things with binding arbitration. That's a significant problem that we can't fix right now, but we need to.
Thank you, Tim. Mr. Dolan, same question for you. What reforms do you support to increase police accountability?
First, I'd like to go on record that I hate the term defund the police, because we don't want to defund the police. We want to allocate our funds to be more proactive in dealing with problems other than reactionary, which is, I think we have a lot of problems in our country is we're reactionary. We need to be more, I call it progressive policing, where you train more on mental health, more counseling, social workers, things like that in communities, and building our economies, some of the poorer communities. I think this will take away a lot of the crime that happens. A lot of this is happening in poorer communities, and I support the police. I support local law enforcement. My parents' house burned down. Part of it was on fire 10 years ago. And I can't thank the first responders enough for the work they did to, salvage what they could. My father was a firefighter for 25 years. My grandfather was a police officer in Appleton back in the day. He was also a city council member. It's all about public service, and I appreciate everything they do for putting their lives on the line. Now, what would I do to make it better in our communities? I think we have to have conversations, sit down, educational courses, things like that, just opportunities to speak with each other. And I think we need to attack the problem before it happens. That's, building our economies, conversations, making people understand that police aren't bad. There are some that have overstepped and they need to be dealt with accordingly. And I think everybody Police officers can agree with that. I think conversations and understanding from everybody will help us for a better future in our communities. And I believe that we need to support each other in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dolan. As we conclude this debate, each candidate will offer a 2-minute closing statement. First, we'll begin with Mr. Ben Dolan of Appleton.
My name is Ben Dolan. You've got to listen to me for the last hour. I hope you didn't turn the channel because, well, you're not going to see me in any other stations anytime soon. I appreciate the opportunity by PBS to let us have a conversation, Mr. Miller, and everybody involved at PBS. Like I said, my name is Ben Dolan. I'm Greater Minnesota proud. There's no better place to live, work, raise your children than out here on the prairie. Western Minnesota is where it's at. And I hope this remains home for me for the rest of my life. We need to invest in mental health resources. We need to invest in our healthcare system. We need to invest in infrastructure out in rural Minnesota. I will be a great champion for all the causes that I've mentioned. I will work hard every day. I don't make any promises. My only promise is I will work hard every day, 24/7, in making our area better, being a strong advocate for rural Minnesota, and making our lives a little bit better every chance I get. I don't have the solution to everything, but I'll always listen. I'm not an expert on everything, but I know a lot of people that are. And I'm always willing to listen to them. I'm willing to listen to you, my constituents. As Mr. Miller alluded to, you have to vote for your constituents. You have to vote your conscience. And I believe firmly that my conscience says that we need to get our work together and start fighting COVID. This has been going on long enough, and I'll be a champion to help us open businesses safely, listen to scientists, working together with the governor, working together with other legislators, making the tough choices in the next couple of years to make our community better. I appreciate your time. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Ben. And now, a closing statement from Representative Tim Miller.
Thank you, Pioneer Television, for putting on this debate, and thank you, Ben Dolan, for your willingness to run and to come this evening. Folks, I can tell you that this is not easy. This work is incredible. It's daunting when you get into it. You kind of don't know what you're getting into, and then you really realize it. And I do appreciate Mr. Dolan's willingness to step forward and do this. That's how our process works. My faith is increased when we have dialogue like this. My faith in the system is increased when we have dialogue like this. My faith is increased when we can have civil discourse on important issues. We need to debate the issues. We can even fight about the issues. But in the end, we need to have an attitude of coming together and resolving the challenges that we have before that. That is something that I will always promise to do. We may disagree on a point, okay? We may disagree on the perspective, but I hope that everyone understands that as I'm serving you, my intention is to do what's best as I see as we move forward in the many challenges that we have. We can't do everything we want to do. We can't do it as quick as I wish that we could, but we are going to consistently strive and move forward. I ask for your vote tonight, but if I don't get your vote, whether I do or I don't, I ask that you vote this year. Our system only works when people step forward and vote for the people that they think should best represent them. When there is an election where someone wins that they don't like and they're frustrated, and they say, "How did this happen?" And I ask them, "Did you vote?" And they say, "Well, no, I don't vote because I don't trust any of those, dirty dogs." Well, elections have consequences. You get what you serve. So, thank you all for listening to us tonight. God bless all of you. God bless Minnesota, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Representative Miller. That concludes our program. Thanks to both candidates for joining us, and special thanks to our viewers who sent along their questions. To watch this and other Meet the Candidates episodes, past or present, visit video.pioneer.org or use the free PBS video app. Just choose Pioneer PBS as your local station. Thank you for joining us. on Meet the Candidates.